Podstream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at mrdirk.com.
Is getting us another look at another doctor to get a second opinion, to see what it looks like. But right now, it doesn't look like Mattias will be joining us immediately.
Oh boy, that was big news this weekend. Mattias Ekholm's future very much in question here as far as the rest of this season and the playoffs. How long will he be? As you heard Chris Knobloch say today, getting another opinion, and they should have more information in the next day or so. There's a chance he's done for the year. Best case scenario, I believe it's deep in the playoffs before this player is going to be ready, but we shall see. Sorry to start with that news, folks, but there's nothing else going on with this team that is bigger than the status of Mattias Ekholm. Team, meanwhile, comes out and grabs a solid road win tonight in Winnipeg. Struds is going to hop in here. We will break that down. Brownie, and we got Chris Sabunia as well. So, plenty to discuss on the show. Welcome to Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta, the official gambling partner of all the major Alberta teams. Whoever you cheer for, Play Alberta is cheering you on. Bet on your favorites, get in on odds boosts, and make game time more interesting. Deposit today and get a $50 free bet with the code GYB04 at playalberta.ca. Coming at you from my Adrenaline Diesel studio. If you need a part manufactured, replicated, or repaired, Adrenaline Diesel has you covered with their brand new machine shop. Visit adrenalinediesel.ca. Fresh off a wonderful night at the Strudwick house last night. When Rob Brown joins us, we will go in depth in Struddy's world about what that experience was like as we stepped right into Struddy's world. How you feeling today, Struds?
Yeah, it was a little bad, not bad. I was on the ice this morning quite a bit, so that kind of, the fresh air is good for the body, and it kind of brings you back. And yeah, a little nap this afternoon. I took the kids to a movie, so I paid $20 to have an hour nap, but I would have paid twice that. So I got a deal.
Zuby, you got to sit back and just watch some of the texts and videos come in from last night. So you sort of had a third row seat for the gathering, the soiree.
I would have liked more. I would have taken a play-by-play. I would have been happy with somebody live tweeting it. I want it to be even more connected. But yeah, a couple of funny pictures and videos rolled in, and yeah, it was too bad I couldn't have been there.
Yeah, it would have been awesome. We definitely learned some things. And Brownie and I are going to debrief. That'll be Struddy's world a little bit later on in the show. He'll be joining us when he finishes up over on 880 Ched. Just Steve. Of course, Steve Taylor is in the chat saying, couldn't have given us 5 minutes of happiness, Shogger. That's not my job, Steve. Sorry, bud. It's just not my job. Hey, Zuby, we got to bring it. Negative Nelly, says Ronnie Oceanfront. What do you want us to do? You want us to pretend like it's not happening? Just cover our eyes and, cover our ears and just not even say Mattias Ekholm's name? First segment's on Ekholm. Second segment, all Dylan Holloway all the time. No, I'm kidding. We're not going to do that to the people, Struds. But this Mattias Ekholm thing is far from ideal. So that's where we're going to start what this might look like for the Oilers moving forward. Let's get to our breakdown brought to you by the Alberta Ram dealers. It's the Ram Motor Trends celebration event. Lease a 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab for only $139 weekly, 2.49% for 42 months. See your Alberta Ram dealer. We will get to the game here in a little bit. But Struds, man, we had a conversation earlier this season on the pod where we were debating if there was one player the Oilers could ill afford to lose for the playoffs, who would it be? And there was some discussion that it just might be Mattias Ekholm, because if you lose Connor, you've got Leon. If you lose Leon, you've got Connor. If you lose Mattias Ekholm, as good as Darnell Nurse has been, the next man up, there's a big drop-off, Struds. Not going to be around for that first round series, I would assume here. And this is a monster.
I saw your tweet the other day, and my heart just sunk for this team and for the city, because this makes a return to where they were last year really difficult. And unfortunately, it's no one's fault. Injuries happen. The Oilers have been so lucky. And I think that Oilers fans have to be reminded that the way they've been healthy for the last number of years is not normal. Like that, they've been extremely, extremely lucky. And it feels like the last whatever month or so, I'm not sure exactly the time, it feels like it's all caught up to them. Like, okay, now the tab is due. We got to pay up. And this one for Ekholm was absolutely humongous. Thank God that they traded for Wallman. That helps a little bit. But they had I called them like the five-headed monster back there. Now they're down to 4. And if someone gets nicked up and they're down to 3, they've got a real problem here, because you're bringing in is it Klingberg if he's healthy? I'm not sure where that's at. You might have a better sense. Josh
we might
Brown.
have seen the guy tonight. In Dunedin.
Yeah. Dunedin, yeah. Okay, that's fair. So, and no disrespect at all. I was those guys. I'm speaking from experience, but it's not even close to what you have in those top 5. And so that's where this injury is significant, because he's Oilers' best D-man. But if you lose another one, now it becomes a disaster, because you're playing with 3 horses and you're riding those guys like crazy. So very negative way to start the pod. We had a lovely evening last night. But I can't overstate how much of an issue this is for the Oilers and their D-core. It is a disaster if you're looking to return to where they were last year.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see how long it ends up being here, but anytime without Mattias Ekholm it's crushing for this group, Struds. And, when he first came in, there was no question that he stabilized Evan Bouchard's game for sure. There was a real clear kind of significant turn in Bouchard's quality of play as well. He's one of those guys that can do that. He's regularly referred to as their top D-man by this head coach. I've noticed that a few times this year. He's referred to Mattias Ekholm in that way. So I guess the question I have for you here is, in a year where Evan Bouchard, his game has been up and down, having a decent offensive season, but his year has been up and down. Mattias Ekholm's been in and out of the lineup. What do you think about a player like Evan Bouchard's ability to get to the level he needs to be at for this team, to be able to push through this injury? Like, a lot of this is going to fall. He's going to have to drive a pairing. He's going to have to be the guy. And from what you've seen this year with Bouchard, how are you feeling about that potential?
And that's the truth. When you become, there's a point where in your career where you become the guy on your line or your D pairing. And I only experienced it one time when I was in the minors, and it was my 3rd year. And I didn't even realize that how well I was playing. Again, I don't want to make it sound like I was running the power play, but for what I did, I was playing really well. And the coach came to me and said, "You're playing amazing." He goes, "But that's not enough. You now have to be like 1.5 D-men, and you have to be able to cover for your partner too. You have to be more than that." And that's what Ekholm has helped with Bouchard. Not suggesting Bouchard hasn't done on his own, but he's been there to help clean up some challenges that maybe his partners felt and done his own job. So now for Bouchard, he's got to find that level as well. Is it fair to ask him of that? Yes. Yes, it is. Because of the experience he has, because of the type of player he can be. Now, just like we had the conversation the other night, you don't just turn it on. Oh, okay, I'm now going to be that guy. It's got to be building and understanding and committed to doing that. I'm not suggesting he's not committed to it. Maybe awareness is a better word, that you have to be that guy. So, tonight it was a little bit all over. It looked like he was playing mostly with Nurse. So maybe they're trying to gear that up now that this noise is here. Not the noise, but the injury about.
Well, remember, Wallman wasn't an option tonight, though. So I'm not sure what to read into that tonight.
Yeah, well, yeah, because Kulak was with Emberson, right? And that kind of felt it. Yeah, so I kind of felt like it. So
double check that.
Yeah, so then it would be Wallman with, I guess, Stetcher. Yeah. I guess we can't look too far ahead. But yes, to answer your question, I think he can do it. But he's got to just start building towards that and understand that this is what they need him to do. And he has to be able to do it, because he can do it. I've seen him do it. I've seen him play at that level during the hardest part of the year.
Yeah. One of the criticisms I had was when Mattias Ekholm first started missing games. It was like, okay, Ekholm's not in the lineup. Everyone's got to pick it up. And Bouchard, recognizing that moment, like, lean into this thing, right? Just make sure. And I didn't feel like he, sort of took that responsibility and elevated when Ekholm was out of the lineup before. I wouldn't say that that's been consistent because Bouchard has had some good games in the time that Ekholm has been out. So I wouldn't say that's an across the board criticism, but I would say, Struds, he's not going to have the luxury of just worrying about everything from the red line in. He really needs he's going to need to really dial in the defensive zone because, they're losing a lot in that zone without Mattias Ekholm. We've seen him do it. We know that he can do it. Now, Darnell Nurse, on the other hand, has had a really good season. One of the best two-way seasons of his career, I would say, Struds. That is huge for this group to be getting this Darnell Nurse with Mattias Ekholm not there.
Can't have it all, I guess.
Yeah.
Can't have a healthy Ekholm and a Nurse playing at such a good level. So, the partners for me are really fascinating. How are you going to play this out? How are you going to put these guys together? And because before I was sure it was going to be 5 and then the 6th guy. Now 4, I guess you can ride 4, but you can't ride 4 for 7 games for 4 rounds. So this is where the challenge comes up for everybody to sort out how to do pair 1, pair 2, and then more of a toss away pair 3, or do you split up? Emberson and Stetcher. I'm not sure what Klingberg is. Does he come back? I don't know.
I'm not sure on Klingberg, like LTIR here. I don't love necessarily Bouchard and Wallman together. I think that Nurse and Kulak together is a good pairing, but now you're just mucking up your lefties and righties, and it just doesn't make much sense. So, are you Kulak and Wallman? Are you Nurse and Bouchard together? Is that kind of the way you look at it? Or you go Wallman and Kulak, I guess, and Bouchard. You could go like, I don't know, man. This is far from ideal.
So someone suggested that to me, the Kulak Bouchard, and this morning, and I was like, you know what? Yeah. That might not be a bad idea. But the problem is we haven't seen a lot of it. So you're starting something new. Someone have to look it up, but I'm sure they haven't played as much together as Nurse and Bouchard. So are you starting something new here? Put these guys together, and then Wallman, Nurse, which is probably supposed to be what it was supposed to be anyways, and then you have the 2 righties together on the 3rd pairing. But the challenge now, how much can play that 3rd pairing? If they don't have one of those top 4 guys in it.
I got Natural Stat Trick up here. So they played, Bouchard and Kulak played, not including tonight, I don't think, 188 minutes together. 12 goals against, 9 goals for, 61% of the shot share with those 2 together. If we switch this up and look at Darnell Nurse, actually their numbers together this year, I think were Nurse and Kulak had, I think, pretty good numbers this year. So Bouchard and Nurse played 109 minutes together.
Less. Wow.
61. Okay. 61% of the shot share. Goals for 8, goals against 4. So there's a couple of options there. And if Wallman can come in, and if he can, like, if you're playing with Evan Bouchard, I'm sorry, Jake Wallman, like you're going to have to buckle down in your own end and play this similar to the way he played the first few games, Struds, where he really focused on the defensive end. But I don't know that they'll lean that way. I'm not sure. It'll be interesting. We'll get into it with Rob Brown too and see what he thinks. Struds, this is on people's mind, so we'll deal with this and then we'll move on to the game tonight here. But you had Trent Frederick come back and get hurt, played 7 minutes, and he was done. You had Leon Draisaitl injured in a game, or hurt in a game, tweaked in a game, and continues to play at 49 goals looking for 50 and ends up missing some time because that turned out to be an injury. You got Mattias Ekholm coming back in what was not meaningless, but not exactly a huge game that he came back for, and immediately he's out of the lineup as well. We are not doctors. We know those are professionals. Their training staff are professionals. Their doctors are professionals. But this sequence of events, I think, lends to the fair question, do they need to review their processes here? Are they good with their processes? And is this just strictly some bad luck that they have had? Or Struds, is it fair to be saying, hey, do they need to take a look at kind of the calls they're making and if they need to be erring more on the side of being more conservative? Is that fair?
Yeah, it's interesting because I've had many people ask me about that. Every trainer does it the same way for every single injury they see. Figure out what it is, get a treatment plan, figure out a time to come back, test it out, and then you come back. That is what every trainer for the history of the planet has done. And with this training staff who's been around a long time, we've seen a good track record of people returning or dealing with injuries at the same time. Pretty dramatic. A big one was Connor's collarbone. We're talking about a knee from Connor. We're talking about a sprained ankle from Leon, and on we go. There's been a lot of injuries they've dealt with really well. This, to me, is a run of bad luck because up to this point, this isn't a new training staff. Yeah, I'd be blown away if they changed their policies or their plans. So can you review it? Sure. Could we have done something different? Yeah, you can look at it, but it's the same process all the time. So did they come back too fast? I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, they tweaked it and went back, but they also kept playing and they would have been fine. So I'm always really hesitant to blame the training staff in any situation because I just know, and it's not just this team, it's every team across the league. And I don't get the sense of non-blocks like, we got to get Strudwick back. We need him back. We got to get it, like they're pushing. They're trying to do the right thing all the time. So people don't want to hear it. This is bad luck. I really feel it's bad luck. Look how much health they've had, how long they've gone with a good run of bill of health and treating the players right. And more importantly than that, managing their energies right so they don't get energies. And that's just not from the head coach. That's not just the athletic trainer. That's everyone, the coach, the trainer, the players, the workout, fitness guru, strength and conditioning coach. All those people help to manage this team right. And now they have a run of bad luck, unfortunately, at the worst time of the year for 4 weeks, whatever the math is, Shug, 4-6 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a tough run for sure. I think it opens it up to fair questioning. But I think your perspective is great there, Struds. You've been in those training rooms, you've rehabbed injuries, this training staff. So they have a lot of guys very successfully returning from injury. By the way, Friedman also, I believe, was talking about it being a different injury than the one that Ekholm had been recovering from before. I believe that's what Fried had said the other night on TV. I didn't specify that in my reporting yesterday, but, so whether the two were even connected or not, I think is still a bit of an open issue. We'll get some of Brownie's thoughts on this stuff too. For now, Struds, let's talk a little bit about the game as we wrap up this segment and before we get into takeaways. So they go in tonight. Winnipeg was resting guys too. No Lowry, Morrissey, Connor Hellebuck, obviously. They got some out of town scoreboard help and had the President's Trophy clinched before the game was even halfway over. But bottom line, another night where Connor McDavid, Connor Brown, Jeff Skinner play a game together, produce. McDavid produces. They look good, and you go grab a win in Winnipeg.
If you just closed your eyes and didn't look at the calendar, this would feel like a exhibition game in end of September. Because there's so many important players missing from both sides. Morrissey was missing. You got Pionk missing. The captain Lowry, you got Leon, Ekholm, boom, 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 boom. Like there was a lot of money sitting on the sidelines. Ehlers, Nuge. It's crazy. So it was a fair fight. I believe this was a fair fight. Now, Connor Hellebuck didn't play, so got to put a little bit of an asterisk beside it. But as far as skaters, this was a fair fight. Both teams were missing some of their big guns. And this was a workman-like effort by the Oilers. I really enjoyed the game tonight. I love the way they played. They were on the puck. They spent, good time in the offensive zone, grinding away. The players you mentioned, they're getting more opportunity and they're delivering. Right? The Connor Browns of the world, Arvidsson, Perry, Henrique, all these guys are now getting some time to show what they can do. What did they say? Henrique's got 9 or 10 points in his last 10, 11 games. Like that's a pretty damn good run. So he's getting opportunity and he's thriving on it
too. Yeah.
What's that?
5 in his last 4, I think. I'm not sure what the longer term was, but yeah, they're getting this opportunity because guys are hurt. And, Struds, bottom line, it feels good to put your hands in the air. It doesn't matter who's not in the lineup, who is in the lineup. It feels good to contribute offensively towards wins for these players that have basically done it their entire careers.
And doing it and helping the team win. They're going to help this team get to 100 points. They are helping the team get to 100 points. Now, when the playoffs start, they'll get some health back, and these guys will be pushed into roles that maybe they're not in right now. But they'll still feel good about their game, and that's the challenge for non-blocks to keep them going, try to keep them feeling good at that point. Even the fourth line, those guys, I like that fourth line. That fourth line might have something to it now. The problem is we don't know who's coming back, when they're coming back, how good they'll be when they come back. So that's non-block's job to figure out and our job to guess.
All right, let's get to the Weiss Johnson sound box. The team over at Weiss Johnson are already seeing an increase in requests for air conditioning. So beat the rush and call them today. Specializing in servicing your existing mechanical systems or installing new ones, Weiss Johnson, here for all your home comfort needs. Visit weiss-johnson.com today. Jingle.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
All right, didn't label the clips. Damn it. This is either going to be Derek or, no, this is either going to be Connor Brown or Adam Henrique. I think it's Adam Henrique.
I mean, just top to bottom, I think everybody contributed. Everybody played well tonight. We played stingy when we had to, and we knew they had the tough schedule, the back-to-back and the travel. So just try to keep that high tempo and let our game come to us, and I thought we did a good job of that tonight.
Connor Brown talking a little bit.
Can you maybe talk about your own confidence?
Yeah, I mean, just trying to play. We had a lot of guys that have been in and out of the lineup lately, so guys are moving around and playing different positions. And when you get more opportunity, just try to take advantage. So just simply trying to do that and trying to chip in where I can and feel good about it heading down the stretch here.
All right. Sorry to interrupt there, Adam. Connor Brown asked about the line with Connor McDavid and Skinner and the success that they're having here late in the season and why that's important.
It's a good thing to have some comfort with different line combinations, something you can go to, if things get stale or, hopefully with a long spring and all we learned last year, you need everybody. And so, I really love playing with Skins and Davo. I mean, I thought we've generated a lot these three games. So, like he said, it's just important to be comfortable, be able to go to whatever combination needed on any given night.
All right. Zuby, we get a timeline from Brownie yet? Is he chiming in on the chat group at all?
Yeah, he said 8:25, so another 15 minutes.
Another 15. Okay, perfect. We're going to talk about Stuart Skinner here, but Zuby, first, you were making a point off air about the Winnipeg Jets, Connor Hellebuck, and heaven forbid something happened to Hellebuck. You didn't love what you saw from Comrie tonight.
No, I didn't. I didn't like the rebound. The rebound's up high. He's a pretty big guy, and just like I said, that's watching him. I thought it reminded me of me. Those are rebounds I give up high, where if you got guys' stance, the glove is so high now, like you got to be just plucking those out of the air. And he put a bunch back in play that were up high. So again, Connor Hellebuck is a Hart Trophy caliber goaltender. So It goes without saying it wouldn't be good for the Jets to be without him. But I didn't like what I saw from Comrie tonight anyway. How
about Skinner? What'd you think in his return?
I mean, he looked all right. I tried to pay attention and sort of, I thought he looked poised, I would say. He wasn't scrambly, but there weren't a lot of scrambles either. It was lots of one and done, and he looked good enough. The question back to you guys was, did you see anything tonight that shifts this current balance of power that has been being discussed for the last, say, 4 days to a week?
Yeah.
He didn't hurt it. Didn't hurt his chances.
Right.
I think that's a good return. And now he has another game. And if he, is able to uplift to get a little bit more, I think he's a starter for game one.
Yeah, I thought he looked steady in there. Made the saves that he should have. The goal that went in, I mean, no chance on that. In fact, made a pretty nice save in a scramble to almost, knock that puck down. And the rebound, I mean, whatever. Certainly wasn't his fault. So he was steady in there and didn't have any bad moments. Doesn't matter what we thought. Here's the head coach.
Really solid. I think we defended really well in front of him. The goal that he let in, absolutely no chance. He made a heck of a save on the glove. And the rebounds there, no chance for that. And then the rest of the night kept everything out. So I was very happy with his performance.
Would have been better almost, Struds, if he'd have gotten 30 or 40 shots. Any chance you go with him against the Kings tomorrow? Just because he's barely played at all. It was an easy night tonight. It's an 8 o'clock start tomorrow night, so there's 27 hours between games. Do you think about it at all? Just to get him some more work, get him going.
Yeah, that's Monday. Tuesday's a day off, would be a day off for the group. And then they play Wednesday, correct? San Jose?
Yeah. You can make your call which guy you want to start.
When do they?
No, it's a late start against the Kings on Monday. So my guess is, they're not going to fly out after the game. They'll fly out on Tuesday. So they'll stay at home in their own beds Monday night, get up, maybe they'll practice and then fly the following day. Just a thought. They probably won't, but I wonder because there was so little action tonight for him.
No, because I think that tomorrow could be a bit of a work day for him, like to get his game sharp. And then if there's a practice Tuesday, same thing. So I do not think he will play tomorrow night. And I wouldn't because I want those practice reps.
Work days. Well, these work days that you and the goaltending coaches feel the guy needs. Put him in games. Play him. There's no better work day than that.
You don't get better in games. You get better in practice. You don't get sharp so I truly feel that way. So yeah, I wouldn't do it. And I don't believe they will either.
All right. Good stuff. Okay, let's get to our Relentless Player of the Night, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services, that Edmonton charity partner of ours that's relentless in providing possibility for the youth in our community. 2 in-house counselors providing free therapy sessions. Their youth have supports while they navigate their struggles and rediscover their strength. Visit ucan.ca to donate today. Who do you like, Struds?
Corey Perry, 18 goals. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. And tonight he actually shot the puck in the net rather than redirecting it. I don't know that he scored any other shooting it in from a little bit of distance. It was a nice shot. Yeah. That's what I remember from him. He used to score more like that, obviously, when you get into 50. But I can't believe we're sitting here talking about 18 goals for him. I can't believe it, man. He had 12 last year, less games. He's going to play every game except for one this year at 40 years old. I mean, if that's not the very definition of relentless, I don't know what is.
Yeah. Pretty unreal, man. It's been a pretty impressive performance from Perry all season long. Coming up with big moments, being the guy standing in there for his teammates. He has been everything and more they could have expected from him when they went and grabbed him and brought him in. That's our Relentless Player of the Night. All right, we're going to take a break here. Zuby going to call an audible. When we come back, we're going to do our HSE Core Blue Liners segment while we wait for Brownie, because we are focusing on an Oiler defenseman in the segment tonight. So quick break, HSE Core Blue Liners, and then we'll have Rob Brown joining us. Struddy's World tonight. We're going to debrief our social gathering. Got your back style last night. Brownie points. Ask us anything. Take a lap. Tons of show still ahead, so stay with us here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta. If you're considering a vinyl fence, don't be fooled by cheap marketplace imitations. Get top quality vinyl fence from a trusted company with 20 years in the industry. With locations in Calgary and Edmonton, check out dlrvinylproducts.ca.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
We've got a Rick Rishaug on the chat saying, did you guys have a late night? Don't know what you're talking about, bro. We all feel fine. I think the most beat up one of the group was Randine. She's been dragging it around the house pretty good today. She brought the special drink mix, and I don't think anybody liked it, her special drink more than her, Struds.
They were so good. They were delicious drink. I started out classy with my port, and then she got the old spicy margaritas out, and they were delish. Just so good. I don't know how many I had, but it was good. It was really good.
You're muted there, Shaggy.
Not sure. I was saying, I don't think she's going to be mad hearing this because I'm pretty sure she's upstairs sleeping. So, but hi to Rick, big brother, jumping in on the stream. Let's get to our HSE Core Blue Liners, brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you're a small to medium-sized business, they've got your back when it comes to health and safety compliance. From creating and managing a tailored health and safety program meeting all legislation and core requirements, they support their client operations every step of the way. www.hsecor.com. Struddy, let's talk about Troy Stetcher, because Troy Stetcher is going to have to be a player for him here. They're going to need this guy, Struds. And How much are they going to be able to get from him at playoff time? What are you seeing in 51?
He just became a major player for the Edmonton Oilers. So timely that he becomes our D-man for tonight. So let's just talk about him, what he is. He is a good skating, smart, competitive, more defensive first type D-man. He does have pretty good moves and he makes pretty good plays. Like he can make some offensive plays, but I don't think he is too open in doing that. He does more of the other things I said previously. Like I've said in the past, he's a very good competitor. He tries to be physical. His challenge is his size. When he goes against bigger guys that are equal to the same things he does, he has a tougher time. We saw it a couple times tonight where he's going up against some bigger guys and he's trying to push on them. And he doesn't just throw them in the corner like a Darnell Nurse does or Ekholm or Kulak just because of his sheer size. What can he do in the playoffs? I see a player that's going to be very competitive. He'll do anything to win a game, block a shot. And those are great things to have. One of them's going to have to play probably 15 minutes, either 15 to 16, 17 minutes, either Emberson or Stetcher. I'm guessing it'll be Stetcher. I truly feel. I think if they had all five, I would dress Emberson, but I think it will, based on the play tonight, of recent play, it'll be Stetcher playing more than Emberson when we get into the playoffs.
Did leave the game a little bit early tonight. Knobloch was asked post-game if it was just equipment or if there was an injury there. Knobloch said, hopefully it's just equipment. We're not sure. Again, add it to the list of players that we got to ask the head coach about tomorrow. There's Brownie. Brownie sliding in for our Core Blue Liners segment. You're never in for this segment, buddy. How you doing?
No, I'm pretty excited. I got to listen to you guys. You sound very informed. I was giggling when you said whether it was equipment or whether it was an injury. I saw him get crushed, and then he left shaking his leg. So hopefully it's just a twinge, and they got him out of there. But it's funny now. I don't know about you guys. Every time there's a hit thrown or there's a shot taken, I'm just like, oh, okay, no, wait. Does he get up? Does he get up?
Mm-hmm.
They are so snake bitten right now. You're just fearful every time something bad looks like it might happen.
For sure. So in this segment, Brownie, we're talking about Stetcher. We've been talking about him a lot lately because, him versus Emberson, which one of them was going to get the look? I mean, we just did a whole segment on Ekholm. So they're going to have to rely on Troy Stetcher here, assuming that he's healthy. What do you think about his game right now and how it would translate into a playoff series, Brownie? How much will they be able to rely on him?
Well, I think you can. I remember when the Oilers played against him in the playoffs, he didn't look out of place. I think he has had a very good second half to the season. No big mistakes. Now, there's limits to his game. The fact that he's, as Struds talks about it, he's a smaller defenseman. So there's limits to what he can do, especially in front of the net. But small defensemen have always been small. So they've always had to learn body positioning, how to get into the corner, get a puck without getting run over, how to move the puck out of harm's way without turning it over because of the pressure you're getting. He's always known how to do that, and he's got over 500 games in the NHL. So I don't think it'll be an issue. He'll be this, the fifth defenseman, but he just doesn't make big mistakes. And between him and Emberson will make a big mistake more so. He'll give the puck away. He'll turn it over. I think Stetcher he's smart, and they will limit where he has to play and keep him away from big lines. But I got no worries that Stetcher will be a quality defenseman in the playoffs.
Yeah. How do you think specifically against the Kings, Struddy?
Big centerman. They've got some pretty big wingers. They also have smaller guy like Fiala. Like I think against Kevin Fiala, I think he's fine because Kevin's not a big guy. He's more finesse, and Stetcher can keep up with him. He's a good little skater. That's unfair. He's a good skater. But against guys like Quinton Byfield and Kopitar, it becomes a challenge, right? Warren Fogle, he gets in the way and slows him down, but he's not able to put him in the wall like some of the bigger guys can. And I think at playoff time, that makes a difference.
Yeah, for sure. Someone said take a look at Stetcher's career playoff numbers. 21 playoff games in his career, according to Hockey DB. He's got 7 points, 4 goals in that time. So we will see. We'll look for news on him tomorrow. I should be down there for they'll have an optional skate tomorrow morning before that game against LA. So I'll be down at the rink, and we'll see if we can get some answers on some of these injuries, because there's a pile of them right now. That was our Core Blue Liner segment, brought to you by HSE Core Services. All right, time now to get to our takeaways, brought to you by Martin Motorsports. Now that some warmer weather's sticking around, it's just about boat season. Martin Motorsports has a massive sale on pontoon boats, perfect for days on the lake, as you'll have space for the whole family, the dog, the neighbors, and all your friends. Swing by one of Martin Motorsports locations in Edmonton, Calgary, Saskatoon, or Kelowna to view the pontoon inventory, or shop online at martinmotorsports.ca. Brownie, we had a long conversation about Mattias Ekholm and how big a loss it is. Goes without saying. I mean, if this is season ending for him, or potentially deep into the playoffs, what do you think about the Oilers' ability to go on a deep run this year? How much is it affected with Ekholm not being available?
Well, it's certainly affected. He's their best all-round defenseman. He's a guy that when things go sideways, you put on the ice to stem the flow of blood coming against. Like, he's the one that stops the opposition's momentum. Are they still capable of winning the Stanley Cup? Yes, but it gets harder. And you take away a couple of years ago, the LA Kings had no Drew Doughty in the first round. And they said afterwards, if we have Doughty, maybe we beat the Oilers. Every team that goes through a long stretch, again, the one thing to me, three things you need to win a Stanley Cup. You need a good hockey club, you need good bounces, and you need good health. This is a setback for the Oilers. It certainly is, but it's adversity that this Oiler team has faced here for this last little while, and they're going to have other guys step up. But yeah, it's not going to be as easy. I didn't think the Oilers were as good a team this year as they were last year, and that was with Ekholm in the lineup. So it's taken another jump back.
How massive is it? I mean, Connor McDavid comes back into the lineup here, Struds, and in his time back, I mean, he's just piling up the assists. He's basically in on every single Oiler goal in some way, shape, or form. Like, he's come back and looking like he is absolutely gearing up for the postseason. He's going to have to go supernova again here, and he looks like he knows that, Struds.
That's fair, but I think we can also look into some of the support players that are also getting it done. So we're expecting three players to come back: Hyman, Nuge, and Leon. That's a whole line. So you're going to push three people out, but you're still going to have the Perrys, the Arvidsons, the Henrique, Brown, these guys that are scoring some goals. Like, they're still around. So now if those guys can come back, and if Leon and Connor specifically can kind of take their game to playoff style like they have in the past, and those guys can keep scoring, maybe you can, smooth over some of this issue with Ekholm not being there.
What have you seen in his game, though, Struds? Sorry, Brownie. Struds, what have you seen in McDavid's game since he's been back, though, compared to where he was before?
I'd say I think he's handling the puck better, although tonight he dusted it a couple times, but he's moving his feet constantly and so hard when he's so quick, because he's like the one, I don't know if you guys saw the move today where he got it, tapped it behind, I think it was Perfetti, then just jumped around and grabbed it on the other side at the blue line. Like, that is, you do that against 8-year-olds. You don't do that against NHL players. And he does it. Now he's just looking so quick, so dynamic right now that others are having a tough time keeping up defensively, Brownie.
Well, I think, I agree. I don't think he had good hands tonight. I think he actually struggled quite a bit. He turned the puck over a number of times, but he made up for it in energy. I think, to me, he looks rested and energetic. He is absolutely flying out there, and he looks like he's in a different speed than anyone else. That's the Winnipeg Jets. Now, they were missing some good players tonight, but they still had a lot of good players in the lineup, and Connor just dominated when he was on the ice. And has the last couple games where when he's on the ice, it's always in the offensive zone, and then he leaves and the other team can have a bit of a breath. But to me, he just looks like he's rested, and he's gone to another gear. And what I think right now, the way he's playing, and he's playing very well, it's with Brown and Skinner now, you don't have to load up a first line with Connor McDavid right now. You do have the option of having a Connor Brown on that line now, which allows you to have better depth, because now you got a Hyman or a Nuge or a Draisaitl or anyone down the line, because Connor McDavid is playing so good right now. It does not matter who you put with them. they are going to get a number of grade A scoring chances.
So let's get into that discussion then. Do we think we know what lines are going to look like? Let's assume that the forwards are healthy, that, you know, Zach Hyman is back and reasonably healthy and ready to go. Nugent Hopkins will be back here. Frederick, I would say, let's not count on for the start of the postseason. So for the purposes of this conversation, let's not assume that Frederick is ready to go. I don't know that that's looking great. But do you keep Skinner and Brown together with McDavid Struds, or do you have to get Hyman back in there at some point? Like, what do you think on the number 1 and 2 lines?
Would you put those guys together and put Nuge, Leon, and Hyman together, and then you have the line of Henrique, who's it? Arvidsson and
Arvidsson. No.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
by the way,
because
Kane, forgot to mention Kane.
So I'm leaving. Yeah, I'm leaving Kane and them out. But I'm just trying to think about what we know now, because the Oilers' fourth line. I don't know what you thought of them, Brownie. I like that fourth line. I think that they've got the speed and the size. They're getting around. So that means we're taking out Derek Ryan. Who am I missing in there?
Well, the thing is, I'm taking out their fourth line, guys. I am taking out their whole fourth line. I understand that Jones, Kapanen, and they
point.
do, because you have Perry, because Perry's staying in the lineup.
Yeah,
You're not taking Perry out of the line.
So Perry drops down maybe with Janmark and Kane, maybe.
I'm not keeping Kane and Frederick in right now because we don't know if they're coming back. So I would think, I mean, do you have Philp playing center between Janmark and Perry as your fourth line? Now you got a big centerman in Philp, who I thought has played well. And then you have Arvidsson, Podkolzin with Henrique, the 3 guys we just talked about, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, and Leon, and then leave Skinner with Brown and McDavid together. I mean, if they continue to look good, because they have played well. And what's that, 5 goals now for Brown in his last 4 games?
Yeah. Well, how about that pass Skinner made to McDavid, and he wasn't able to finish it? As soon as he passed up, like, oh, we got it. And he missed the net. I'm like, what? Who was that? Which guy was that? Who's number 17?
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean when McDavid's hands weren't there.
Yeah. We've gone from Skinner being out of the lineup for game 83 to on the first line now. Like, this is crazy.
It is, but that's because when I said it before, if both Kane and Frederick were back, I don't think Skinner would be in the lineup. But if Frederick and Kane aren't back, that's 2 more guys you need in the lineup. So that would be Philp and Skinner that I wouldn't think would be in there if they were completely healthy. But right now, I think, and I'm on the Skinner bandwagon. I always thought he was good. I just think that they didn't use him properly. And he played very good again tonight, creating opportunities. And again, he's not getting power play. Like, he's their second power play unit. Yeah. He's like, Arvidsson is their first guy. They still like Arvidsson better, but Skinner's look good. But I do believe the Oilers, when the Vegas Golden Knights won the Stanley Cup a couple of years ago, during the regular season, they had a ton of injuries. And a bunch of their depth players got to play, got to get confident, got to play in different situations. You learned what you had for those players. Nobody wants your best players injured, but there are benefits of seeing what these guys can do, Struds. And right now what we're seeing is these players are a lot better than they were given credit for. And now that they're getting some touches and some ice time, they're getting some confidence, and it shows.
Brownie, let me ask you this. I feel like tonight Skinner was playing more straight lines and less 10 and 2s. Did you see him do many 10 and 2s today? I thought that the previous couple games he was 10 and 2 all over the ice, and I think it actually slows you down.
Oh, you're right. You know what he looked like? He looked like you in that Battle of the Blades where he's just going 10 and 2 those last few games. But tonight he was a much more. Now he's playing like you used to play in the NHL when you're just straight lines, right to the corner, right back to the bench. But I thought Skinner was good.
Yeah, I think he was fast. Like, go straight lines, skate fast, get to the puck, move. You know what I mean? Like, that's how Connor wants to play.
You lose, like, with Hyman down on a third line and not necessarily playing with either of the 2 top guys, although I think you had him with Nugent Hopkins there. Like,
no, we both had him. We had him with Nugent Hopkins and Draisaitl.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying they haven't played that all year. Like, that hasn't been a line that they've. So Nugent Hopkins was playing the best hockey of his season at center, and we all agreed because he was moving his feet and he got going. So, I mean, that was having success before Nugent Hopkins got hurt. Podkolzin, Arvidsson, and Draisaitl had some good looks together recently. I can't help but think that they don't feel like Zach Hyman needs to be more contributing, higher in the lineup. You know,
But we have him higher than
Leon.
me and Struds. We have him with Leon.
Yeah.
I don't know how much.
I don't think they'll just make up a line they haven't used all year. I don't think they're just going to do that for game one of the playoffs.
They just made up Skinner, Brown, and McDavid, and you want to stay with that.
That's regular season. That means nothing. Like when everybody's available again, he's got to go, what's worked?
Well, where are you
has
going to put Frederick and Kane? They're coming back. They haven't played with anyone all season long, and they're going to be on a new line whenever they come back.
I don't know if you suddenly start making a new lineup you haven't used all year.
Well, should we trade for Yamamoto? He worked too. You just you have to see what's working right now. And I don't know. I think you got to try to stack up as many lines as you can.
Yeah. I can't help but think that Hyman will be back with McDavid at a certain point.
Well, he might.
Here.
You just asked us what we would do.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like the Draisaitl, Podkolzin, Arvidsson line had been playing reasonably well here for a couple of games before Draisaitl ended up getting hurt. And then if you can play Draisaitl with those two, now you've got some other good offensive players freed up for a third line. You've got Nuge freed up for a third line. Brown's been contributing. Henrique's been contributing. Like you can load up a pretty good third line if you can squeeze Podkolzin and Arvidsson up there, Brownie.
Yeah, they had one or two okay games, but they also had about 35 games where they produced nothing. So no, I'm not sold on that line. Maybe that's where they start, but I'm not sold on that line.
Mm-hmm. Brown has 5 goals in the last 4 games, doesn't he?
Yep, something like that.
Yeah,
that's
why. Remember when he got hot? Remember when he got hot earlier on this season? Right, he went on a little hot streak similar to this. They played him with McDavid, and there was next to nothing. He went completely dry. Thinking you can play Connor Brown with Connor McDavid in the playoffs when it hasn't worked for most of the year. He's on a nice little hot streak. I agree. But I don't know that he gets that spot for the start of the playoffs.
But you just said that they should put Leon with Arvidsson and put Podkolzin because he had a couple good games. Well,
but it's worked all year, Brownie. The line is Leon likes playing with Podkolzin.
They didn't score all year long. They did not score all year long. Podkolzin went like 20 games without a goal. Arvidsson had 1 goal in 25 games. Yeah. That's not working as your second line playing with Leon. That's why they split them up.
It would be a luxury to have Skinner and Brown with 97 because it really affords you to jack up your second and third lines.
Yep.
And that's what they're probably looking for, to spread out the scoring. And all 4 lines as we've constructed them should be able to hold their own, and or the top line should be able to push on the top lines of the Kings.
Well, and all these lines have gotten mangled. All these injuries have mangled up these lines to the point where they're just Frankenstein lines. And is there the odd thing that's kind of working right now? Yes. I fully believe Knobloch will hit a reset button and we'll see lines that are familiar to this team for game 1 of the postseason, not some Frankenstein line that we haven't seen yet. So we've got 4 or 5 days, 5-6 days here to wait and see. And we'll see what that looks like.
But Sean, so you're telling me that the top of the 2 of the top 4 Oilers can't play a top with one of the top centermen in the world? Is that what you're saying?
What do you mean? Sorry, say that again. What do you mean?
He are unable to play with 29? You wouldn't feel.
But who's unable to play with him?
Hyman and Nuge.
Hyman?
I have Hyman and Nuge with Leon, and you're saying you don't think those 3 guys can figure it out? If you can figure out Skinner and Brown with Connor McDavid, you don't think that a guy who scored 54 goals and Nugent Hopkins, one of the smarter players in the league, can't figure out how to play with Leon?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess I just know they really liked Nugent Hopkins at center here recently. Like really, really liked it. So
I get it.
I'm just saying what I think Knobloch will do. He'll revert back to some things that have worked for him previously. So but yeah, no, good conversation, and we'll be having it all week long. So good time to be getting into it. Okay, let's wrap it there because we got lots of stuff still to come. So that was Takeaways, brought to you by our good friends over at Martin Motorsports. All right, when we come back, we'll come back with Struddy's World. We're going to dig into our little gathering from last night and some things that Brownie and I have newly discovered. Entering into Struddy's World, the real deal. So that, Brownie points, ask us anything, take a lap, still ahead. Stay with us here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolanddentistry.com.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has delivered a high-quality membership experience to Edmonton and area. And now it's even better. Drainage and irrigation improvements in 2024 have taken course conditions to a new level. This commitment to long-term sustainability means exceptional playing conditions all season long. Belvedere's tee sheet availability is unmatched, so join now and experience golf the way it was meant to be played, on your schedule. Visit belvederegcc.com today.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy. God, I look good.
All right, it is time for Struddy's World, brought to you by Timber House Developments. When you become part of the Timber House family, you might be surprised just how close you will get to the people and the process. Most builders try to keep the customer at arm's length once the build starts. Not Timber House. If you want to check in on things, stop by the job site. If you want to chat about the project, go see the crew at head office. Stop in anytime. They've got great coffee and a great crew over at timberhouse.ca. Bit of a different shape to Struddy's World tonight because we had the honor last night, Brownie, myself, Randine, you, Holly, of stepping into Struddy's actual world last night. Shona, an amazing host. First and foremost, Brownie, I mean, that's the first thing that needs to be said. The food, top notch. The hosting job that she did of the guests, I thought was exceptional.
Well, in all honesty, there was 5 guests and 1 host. The hostess, Shona, she was the one that hosted. I think Struds was more of a guest there. I think he walked in the front door with me. He did not do a single thing. Shona did everything, cooked all the meals,
she was
put all
sprinting
the dishes away. Yeah, it was unbelievable. I think she actually bathed both of her kids while we were there, made the bed, did the laundry, and Strud just stood there and regaled us with stories of his career. And it was wonderful hearing about his career. It was the 77th time he's talked about it, but it was an enjoyable evening. I had tons of fun.
No, I know where this is going. You guys are going to try to chirp me, and that's fair. But guys, it was hard. I had the long welcome hugs from both your wives. Like, they lingered. I'm like, it's been enough. Like,
okay.
You start going through a whole chorus of a song. It's enough. Like, I'm trying to get away.
You know what? I will say, I did have a conversation with Rand. I didn't notice the lingering hug, Struds, but screw you.
Well,
I did. A few times I sort of looked across at Randine while we were playing the games, and like, she was laughing a lot at your ridiculous material. Like, for whatever reason, and considering she thought Brownie was the funniest one on the podcast, she was digging your material last night, Struds. And I'll be honest with you, it was kind of pissing me off. I'm like, oh, the viewers all think he's funnier. He wins every single poll. My wife's laughing at all his jokes. Now I hear there was an extra long hug. I'm not, Brownie, I'm just not, I'm not okay with all of that when you combine it.
Well, I mean, you do know that the Shagaritas might have had something to do with the giggling too, right? It might not have been his jokes. It might have been the triple Shagaritas that we were drinking.
I was feeling it.
Yeah. Okay. The first thing I want to get to here, and this is going to be our YouTube poll.
Great.
Brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. So here's the thing. We're playing a game last night where you write down a guess. And if it's, some of them are legit, some of them aren't. And if there's any question as to whether something is legit or not, the group votes. So the whole group votes on whether it's legit or not. So Knucklehead Struds kept writing down ridiculous answers and then would start arguing with everybody about why it should count. And we would say, let's go to a vote. This happened 12 times. every time we were like, everybody in favor, and Struds kept raising his own hand. You're not allowed to vote when your answer is the one in question. So he kept calling it a tie. He kept trying to count his own vote, which is so offside, Brownie.
Well, my favorite one was you had to, there's a question that said, and it has to start with the letter that we had rolled. And the letter was D. And something in the sky, and his answer was dead ducks. He goes, that's worth 2 points. Dead ducks is worth 2 points. I'm like, if it's a dead duck, he's not in the sky. He said, okay, you're right. I'll only take 0.5 votes on that one.
Yeah,
only
that was the other thing. He'd lose a vote. He'd go, okay, fair enough. I'll only take half a point. Like, buddy, I had no idea you cheated this much. And it makes me want to pay closer attention to our golf games. So let's get to the DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll. The snow's going to start to melt. Well, it has melted. It's pretty much golf season, folks. I saw some people out the other day. It's time to rock and roll. So go see the crew at DeBoer's, dedicated to helping you play better golf. Visit them at 5311 99th Street in Edmonton. Zuby, this question is simple. I'm just going to read it, buddy. Should Struds be allowed to cast a vote for his own answers when voting on board game answers? Zuby, you can take the first vote, buddy. It was ridiculous.
I'm gonna say no. I don't know the game without knowing the game, but I'm gonna say no. I'm not gonna choose the third option that you've given to the poll, Sugar.
Oh, what were the three? What did I give you again?
Well, you said yes, no, or what a goof.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
That's unfair.
Well, I want to go with 3 then, please.
Yeah. Brownie takes 3. What sounds like it's against the rules. So I certainly appreciate the entertainment value that Struddy was putting into the game, but it sounds like it's against the rules. So I'm a rule follower.
I just comment? I'm not a competitive guy anymore. I don't care, but Schauger is trying so hard, and it just got him so off his game. Every time I take it to a vote or 0.5, and there was one that I just died this morning. You had to write something with a D that had spots, and I wrote down Doug. Because my friend Doug has spots. And he lost it.
Struds, do you remember what Schauger wrote for that one?
Yeah, we don't need to get into that one.
Yeah, exactly.
So then we have a vote, and everybody votes it down, and Struds goes, okay, fair enough, 0.5. And he writes down 0.5. Like, just stealing points.
Now, see, if you had a photo of Doug on your phone, I might accept Doug as
show us spotted Doug on your phone, Struddy, and then we get Brownie. Things that we learned entering into Struddy's world. Let's go through the list here. We talked about Shona being a great cook. Zuby, fire that picture up that I sent you. Shona has an issue with the amount of affection that Struds gives his dog, and she shared this picture with the entire group. She said this is a regular occurrence. Yeah, that should be Shona's place in the bed. And no, it's Molly, right, Struds? Molly taking over?
Ruby, sorry.
Ruby, sorry. Ruby.
Yeah.
Ruby.
Ruby. 0.5.
So a little bit too much doggy affection, and Shona was saying she was feeling a little left out in the cold, Brownie.
Wasn't that one on Christmas Eve, too? I think that was Christmas Eve.
No,
She had to go sleep on the couch that night because the dog was in her spot.
Yeah, she jumped in. I didn't want the dog. I told her it'd be a lot of work, and she wanted it, so now the dog's there. Yeah, that's a beautiful picture.
It's a nice sized dog. I would call it a medium sized dog.
Yeah.
Struds walks around. The thing jumps up in Struds' arm, and he walks around like it's a little teeny chihuahua, and he's just holding it. He's talking to you while he's petting. He's drinking his drink. He's got this massive dog in his arms as he's walking around the room.
It's tough to take a guy seriously when his dog's got its tongue down his mouth while he's just sitting there talking to you. It's licking the side of his face and carrying it around like a baby.
I'm just comfortable. I'm comfortable in my own skin, guys. Now you can welcome to join me,
Also learned, Struds, that you speak fluent French. I did not know that about you. That is a thing that I learned last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, French immersion for 9-10 years, I guess. The little
Well,
language of
grade
love.
6 twice. Grade 6 twice. It made it 10 years.
You could be prime minister, Struddy. That's amazing. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, that's right. I almost coached or taught kindergarten, so I'm probably qualified to jump in there, take that role on.
I look forward to that.
Overall tally on games night, just to be clear, Strud, I don't know if you want to update everybody on what the final score was on the games, Struds, the games that we played.
I honestly, I don't remember. I wasn't trying. I was just trying to entertain the group. Mission accomplished.
I won Cards Against Humanity in record time. Like, everybody was stunned how fast I got that W, Brownie.
It is true. We were stunned that the stun guy actually was the one that won it that quickly. So you were very good at that. You were very, very good at that, at reading people. And I believe cheating. I think you had 22 cards in your hand. So you had more options. Yeah, so you had a lot of options. Like you had, like it's fanned out there. I'm like, he's got 22 cards. I've only got 3.
Yeah.
But you were good at that game. And you know what? The best part is, as soon as you won, you let everyone know that you won. And then when we were playing the next game, you actually stopped the next game to talk about how you had won the previous game. So we were well aware that you had won that game.
So just to review, there's 6 people there. 5 of us are visiting. We haven't seen each other a lot, just having a nice talk. And then we have old, Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose in the corner trying to win every game. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, I'm trying to get a buzz on or a little further past the buzz and talk to people around me. And we got to, hey, pay attention. What? Pay attention. What do you mean pay attention?
We weren't even allowed to pay attention.
We weren't even allowed to go to bathroom breaks. Like he said, no, we can't. No. The game is on. He goes, I'm in a zone right now.
Yeah,
it was tough.
I mean,
it was
nothing worse than someone ruining your category's momentum by a elongated bathroom break. And I don't think that's unreasonable. A great time certainly had by all. Desserts too, by the way, were a classic. Like there was a lot of debate about the desserts. It ended up being, what was it? It was the Sex in the Pan and then the 8-layer cake.
Trifle. That was the best one. My wife spent all day making the dessert, all day. And we get there and I had to carry it we took an Uber, so I had to hold it in my lap the whole way. And it's kind of like coming over the sides of it. And we get there and Randine goes, oh, I just got to go set up the dessert. And I'm like, you guys brought a dessert? Yeah, we got this really big dessert. So I'm like, we got a big dessert too. And then that's when my wife realized that her ADHD, she misread that she was supposed to bring a salad. So instead of having any sort of vegetable on the plate, we had 2 really big desserts, which I'm all in favor for because I don't like vegetables. So it worked out really well for me. But they were fantastic.
Guys, I just want to thank you. You guys are great to come over and you guys brought lots of stuff, like the desserts and all this stuff. But I honestly be honest, I've never seen anyone bring what Chagra brought. So what people bring, they bring, beer or flowers or a meal. Chagra brought me a wine that I can use in a stew. When I'm making a stew, it's such a low quality wine that I looked it up and it's free. When you buy a 6-pack of Coors Light, you get this wine. So thank you, Chagra. When I make my next stew, I'll make sure to cheers you.
Well, you know it was a bad wine because he kept drinking ours. He's like, here, can I have some of yours? I don't want to drink.
Well, then Brother Rick chiming in saying he's like that at family dinners. Did he help with the dishes or play the guitar while everyone else did? No, there was no guitar to be played there. Sorry to interrupt you.
There was no help, and there was no help with the dishes either.
No, he doesn't even know where the kitchen is. It's right there. But that nice wine, at first it was supposed to be a white wine because it said white on the outside. You can't always trust the label. And then it turns out to be a red wine. I looked at it. I was like, it was so nice. This was really good as I poured it in the sink.
I actually didn't think it was white. I thought it was white wine. So I went and got a glass, put some ice in it, pour it out, a big glass of red wine with ice. Anyways. Well, thanks again to Shona for hosting Struds. She did a wonderful job last night.
Let her know.
And a good time was had by all. Currently, the poll is you're at 47% saying yes, you're allowed to vote on your. Well, I can't believe that. That's ridiculous. The partisanship towards Strudwick on this podcast is ridiculous. It's stupid. 47% of the vote saying you're allowed to vote on your own answer.
Every vote counts. That's something I've been told since I was young. And I truly believe that. And so do the people.
Okay. That was Struddy's World, brought to you by Timber Haas Developments. Okay, let's get to brownie points. Zuby, roll the happy music, pal. Hamel's Premium Jerky is our sponsor of Brownie Points. If you're craving bold flavor and unbeatable quality jerky made with prime Alberta beef, made and sold right here in Canada, look no further. Their April special is $97, 3 pounds of jerky, and as always, free shipping Alberta-wide. Every purchase of the April special also gets you a draw for some incredible items, including some Got Your Back merch. Visit albertajerky.com to see some more. Go ahead, Brownie.
Well, let's start with 112 brownie points to the old man line of the Oilers tonight. Henrique, 35, Ryan, 38, and Corey Perry, 39. A combined 112 years old, and tonight they combined for 2 goals and 4 points. Perry's unbelievable. 18 goals on the season now for him. Unbelievable at age 39. Many thought that was a bad signing. Turned out to be a very, very good signing. I got 3 brownie points to Nikita Kucherov, who had 3 points tonight and is now leading McKinnon by 3 points and is on pace to win back-to-back scoring titles. In an era of Connor McDavid, it's pretty impressive for Kucherov that he is 2 games away from winning his 3rd Art Ross trophy. If you think about it, this is Connor McDavid, the best in the world. Kucherov, during this time, will have won 3 scoring titles. Kucherov not getting a lot of love in the MVP voting, but he will win the Art Ross. I got -5 brownie points, with hopefully a matching 5-game suspension for Devils forward Paul Cotter. He delivered a vicious, dirty, and needless blow to the head of Isles D-man Adam Pelech, leaving Pelech bloodied and pissed off. He got a 5-minute match penalty, and hopefully the NHL will match that with a 5-game break from hockey. It was a terrible hit that he threw today. I've got 100 brownie points to the Got Your Back first ever dinner party. It was a night of double desserts, margaritas, Strud's creativity and cheating, and general silliness. 100% there will be another GYB dinner party soon. And the biggest one, I have 6 massive brownie points to Rory McIlroy, who became only the 6th golfer ever to complete the Grand Slam of golf in one of the most exciting Masters Sundays I have ever witnessed. McIlroy birdied the first playoff hole to set off an emotional celebration. I watched every single shot today. I like Justin Rose. I am a huge fan of Rory McIlroy. That was an unbelievable final 9 holes. It was a roller coaster, and good for Rory McIlroy, who finally accomplished something that he's been searching for the last 10 years.
Muted.
Great version of brownie points tonight, Brownie. Nice work there. That was emotional stuff. Not gonna lie, when he, went over to the wife and the kid, I was like, oh boy, I was feeling the feels. Pretty amazing. And after he'd missed a 4-footer to win it all, Struds, he comes back around.
Yeah, amazing. I didn't think he'd. I was cheering for both guys, and it looks like they're buddies. Their wives are standing together. Like that was the best and the worst of sports together, because someone had to lose, unfortunately. But Justin Rose, what a classy guy. Let him have his moment, then walked over, embraced him. Like you could see the emotion from Rory. He's had a lot of challenges the last little while, tons, professional and private. And I could just see it on coming out there. So I'm happy for him, but I would have been just as happy to see Justin win.
I agree.
Corey
2
Connors?
things.
Yeah, go ahead, Brownie.
Connors had a great master as well. But 2 things on that: the fact that Rory McIlroy, after literally everything that had gone wrong in that final 9 holes, he had a 4-foot putt to win the Masters on the 18th hole the first time, and like he would have been standing over. You know what? If someone would have told me I was going to have a 4-foot putt to win the Masters, I would have taken it, even after losing a 4-stroke lead and everything. And then to miss it, and to have to go sign your card, and all those things going through your head, and the other guy, Justin Rose, is thinking, all right, here I go. I got borrowed money right now. The fact that Rory McIlroy is to come out there and to birdie that hole after everything that he had just gone through, the disappointment, it shows you the resolve that he has. And I guess that's why you are one of the greatest that ever played. But to talk about Justin Rose, I don't know if you guys noticed this. Justin Rose pretended he was playing in his golf bag for about 10 minutes on the green so that Rory McIlroy could walk up there first. He can go see his family and get all the hugs. And Justin Rose stayed there to give him the respect that he deserves. So I have a ton of respect for Justin Rose as well.
Great. He was on that Netflix show, Full Swing, and he came off so well. I was so happy for him. Like if he would have won, I felt the same way. He's such a cool guy.
And Rory made some amazing shots. He'd miss some short putts. Like almost all the amazing shots he made, he killed it with crappy putting. But he made a couple all-timers, Brownie. Like that one, he swooped right to left, hooked it out of the rough around the tree and up onto the green. Like there were two that were unbelievable from Rory today.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, the way he hit the ball, those ones, you're like, he should have won by about 10. But then he also hit two of the worst shots ever. I don't know if he shanked or duffed the one on the par 5 that when he double bogeyed the hole, like or did he bogey or double?
Yeah.
But he should have birdied, like he was 20 feet off the green and he put it in the creek.
Yeah.
I'm like, you and I could do that, but this is Rory McIlroy. So, but it just added to the drama. Yeah.
When he puts it in the bunker on 18. Then it has to go up and down.
It's the green. It's it's the green. It's
up and
over.
down.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, it was a great event. All right, those were brownie points brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Zuby, you had a contribution to the Got Your Back gathering last night. You got the picture that you put together. So the winning dinner or the winning dessert ended up being sex in a pan. And so Zuby did a little artwork for us, and it was unveiled in the middle of the party last night in our sex in a pan dessert. Zuby, do you even have just a screenshot of what you put together?
Right over top here.
Yeah.
No, that's not it.
Well, that's not
it. You know
so
what? That's the one I used. That is
this,
the original.
This picture ended up in the dessert. Do you have it?
Hang on. I can get it out of I can get it from where I sent it to. Yeah, play the what's your wife's name? Randine.
We're just stretching.
You didn't tell me you were going to use this.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was sent in today.
Oh, here it is. Here we go.
My bad if I didn't grab it.
This should be it here. There we go.
There it is. Sexy in a pan was the label, and Brownie couldn't get over how much hair he had.
I look really good there. I might start wearing cowboy hats.
Yeah, I might have to get one too.
I wonder how all three of us got on that one horse.
I know, it is a little awkward.
That was part of my prompt to the AI, was that I did want all three of you on one horse.
Zuby, do you have the one where you wanted the horse being pet? Do you have that GIF? You probably can't, hey? Can you drop that in?
Let's see what happens if I bring it in. I want it as an overlay. This could just
So you told
kibosh the whole show here.
Oh, well, don't crash the show. You told AI to have what? Struds petting the horse or something? And what did
I said... Yeah, let's see. I don't know if this is going to... Let's see. I said, I did say to it, I said, one of them is petting the horse. I just, for fun, I tried to make the video go on it. And I said, one of them is petting the horse. Let's see if this... Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm going to... And so you can see Struddy starts to pet the horse, but then he also pets Brownie. And then you can see how disappointed Shogger is. So if you want to watch this again, I'll roll it back. Look at how disappointed Ryan is that he doesn't get the attention here.
Dude. You're learning this AI stuff.
Look at, the disappointment.
Yeah. That's about it. That pretty much encapsulates this entire show. You two and your mutual admiration society, and me left sitting on the back of the horse with a frown. Nice work on all that stuff. Brownie, thanks for the stuff tonight, buddy. We'll see you after the LA game tomorrow night, pal.
All right. Night, guys.
Get some sleep.
All right. Let's take a break. When we come back, we will take a lap and ask us anything as well. Bravo, Zuby. Great job, my friend, on all that stuff. Zuby's going to be taking all your comments for Ask Us Anything. So throw us a like in the break and stay with us. We'll be right back. That was awkward.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
Join over 250,000 Canadians who have upgraded to Canada's best mattress. Douglas is proudly made in Canada and ships directly to your door for free. Douglas is easy to set up. Enjoy perfectly balanced comfort and an easy-to-clean machine washable cover. Get a free sleep bundle with your Douglas mattress. Try risk-free for 365 nights. Get your Douglas mattress today.
All right, let's take a couple of laps. Brought to you by Akon. If you're a skilled tradesperson or construction professional looking for work in Western Canada, they want to hear from you. Send your resume in to trades@akon.com. That is trades@akon.com. They're building some of the largest multi-year industrial projects in Western Canada, and you can be part of it. Once again, that is trades@akon.com. Struds, the Edmonton Oilers, Stan Bowman and his staff have been busy inking a pile of players. More today, more to come. Let's go through some of it.
Well, this is what we talked about. You know, you don't have draft picks, you have to go out. And he mentioned this, Stan mentioned this when he signed. They have to be aggressive in Europe and college, and they've done that. So let's start with a Finnish player. A little bit on 6 feet, 180, 190. Had a really good year this year, 62 points as a D-man.
Yeah, Atro Lepinen.
How do you say it? Atro?
I think so. ATRO Lepinen. Atro
Right,
Lepinen.
yeah. No, I'm not challenging it. That's how I would have said it. But I was like, yeah, I'm not 100% sure. So a little bit older player, you know, but he's a guy that is, by all reports, a really, you know, skilled puck moving defenseman. And this is a guy that they think can maybe help them out at some point here next year. On some level, what level? Europeans, you know, those guys are a little bit older. You never know what you're going to get, but you know he'll be here, and we'll see what he looks like. I guess when we see him in the tryouts.
Yeah, left shot guy set the record for points by a D-man in the league. First time ever the defenseman's led the Finnish league in scoring. He ended up with 63 points. So an interesting add there, offensive-minded player. Now the one that is to come, Struds, that's the one Oiler fans should be, not that they shouldn't be excited about this other one, but this Quinn Hudson, I think, is a player. It's been reported they're going to get this deal done. Maybe gets to town and gets into that game against goes on the road and gets into that game against the San Jose Sharks. But a good young forward who was later developing as well.
Yeah, I asked a guy who played college this year, and he said he's really skilled. Not the biggest player, but smart, makes plays. His two brothers are the younger, obviously, the Hudson brothers. There's 3 of them. So he's obviously a skilled player. Interesting. This is just my comment. Interesting that he signed here when the Oilers already have Matt Savoy in the organization. To me, that was really interesting because I feel that they're quite similar. Now, I might be wrong, but I feel that they're quite similar when I've checked in with some people. So I thought that was something to be figured out, because where does everyone fit on this lineup? So maybe it says there may be some changes. Oh, well, there will be changes every year.
Yeah. Tomasek, I think the expectation is he'll be on the team next year. The other player that they had signed here recently. So then you've got Hudson comes in, likely competes with Savoy for a spot on the roster next season. We could see some younger players on the Oiler roster next season, which would be a change. They never really spent a lot of time with younger players regularly this year. So, yeah, they're wheeling and dealing. Samuel Johnson, also their 5th-round pick, ends up getting a deal done too. We knew that they were going to rattle off some signings here, Struds. They're trying to restock the cupboards because they've been stripped bare through year after year of trying to contend and trading away prospects and stuff. So I don't know how many of these are going to turn out. We'll see. But it's something you can do. It's kind of found money. All it is a contract and some money when you're going and not having to use draft picks or trade capital to get guys to add to the organization.
Yeah, so they've signed 2 goalies, as you mentioned, both drafted. They signed, so I'm guessing those guys will be pushing out. Some guys are currently there. And this is, these guys are like, 2nd, 3rd, 6th, 7th rounder, right? Like you're getting guys in and you're giving them a chance, but they're a little further down the road. So I really like the aggressiveness by Stan Bowman showing to get these players.
All right. The other one I want to get into tonight, Struds, I want your opinion on what we saw in that fight between, it was Forbort and Trennan, I believe, correct?
That's right. Yep.
So Vancouver, the two guys get into a scrap, and for anybody who didn't see it, pretty honest scrap, 2 pretty big guys. And after it was over, Trennan ended up on top of Forbort, and he threw a right hand in that caught him flush while he was square on his back. Sounds like a broken orbital bone. Tough way for the season to come to an end for Forbort. Struds, take us through what you saw there, and what do you think of that?
So the guys are going at it, and then they fall down, and Trennan has Forbort down. Before the refs can get a control of the body or protect a forward while he's down, Trenton just absolutely drills him square in the face and breaks his orbital bone. Stupid, unforgivable move. Absolutely unforgivable. Who was it? Teddy Brugger speared him from the bench, and I don't blame him. Like that is, I hope he broke one of his ribs. You cannot do that to another player who's down. The fight's over. The fight is over. He should get. I would suspend him 10 games. Honestly, I'd give him 10 game suspension. Just hammer him down because you cannot have that. And the guys that run that safety, they know that can't happen. So I thought it was disgusting, very, very dangerous, and just gross. I didn't like it at all. Not even, you can't, it's inexcusable.
Wouldn't we have heard something about player discipline today if there was going to be?
Well, maybe. And if they don't, I feel it's a major overlook because this doesn't happen. Like when's the last time we've seen this happen? Rarely. So it's not like a pandemic of hitting from behind or hits to the head with the body, but that is gross thing that happened. And now the worst part is this player forward has to deal with this for the whole summer and get ready trying to deal without the broken orbital. It is so stupid.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. The one comment I'm going to make, Struds, and this is no way excuses it, but I was thinking to myself, what would drive a player to do something so stupid? And so I watched the fight back. There was a point in that fight where Trennan's on one knee, and Forbort fired a bomb at him while he was down on one knee, and I think he caught him. So part of me wonders if Trennan wasn't steaming mad, and when the adrenaline gets going, and he just made a stupid decision at the end of the fight. But I don't know if you noticed that or not, but take another look at the fight and look when Trennan is down and Forbort lands one, or at least throws a big one at him.
Respectfully understand what you're saying, but when you're both laying down on the ground and you're on top of the other guy, you don't hit it. You don't hit it. And that was a good pickup by you, but you do not do that.
I'm just wondering why he did it. Like, why would you be so, and maybe his adrenaline was firing and he was livid. Like it's not an excuse, and I'm not saying it's an excuse, but guys know better than to do that. That is such an offside thing to do. I was thinking, like, where did that come from?
Now, I don't watch every game. I haven't seen every fight he's been, but what I know of him, this isn't normal for him. Trennan isn't usually like that in fights from what I've seen. Now, someone might pull up a fight from 5 years and just telling me I'm wrong. Maybe you are. But in this moment, it was gross, just a gross thing. And to break your bone over that, a game that means nothing for your team. Come on.
Yeah, that's brutal.
It's a joke.
Okay, let's get to our scoreboard, brought to you by Canadian Club. The all-new CC Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at 58%. Their highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date is a full-bodied whiskey with aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with a butterscotch finish. Struds, I brought the cheap wine over last night because I'm keeping the 58% CC high proof in my own liquor cabinet right there, bud.
Classy guy. 2 points behind the Calgary Flames are chasing down a playoff spot. They have 2 games left, and the Blues and I should say the Wild each have 1 game. The Blues are 2 points ahead of the Flames. They play Tuesday night against Utah. The Minnesota Wild are 3 points up on the Flames, and they play against the Ducks. Now, if either one of those teams lose it and the Flames win their last 2 games, they're in. This is a great story. You gotta love what they're doing down there in Calgary. So that's, to me, the big news of the day. After that, the Leafs clinched the top spot. Riley had 3 assists, Morgan Riley, to beat the Hurricanes 4-1. And then really that's probably it. I mean, the Capitals lost to Blue Jackets a back-to-back night. Ovi gets his 43rd goal of the year.
All right. That's our scoreboard brought to you by Canadian Club. Oilers a couple points back of the LA Kings here. What does LA have left? LA has Edmonton tomorrow, Seattle, and then Calgary Thursday. That's their last 3 games. Mm-hmm. The Oilers have LA and then San Jose. So, it's still doable, Struds. Like, depending on what LA does, if the Oilers can beat LA tomorrow, I mean, that basically ties them. And then really it boils down to that, last couple of games for LA versus the Oilers. So it's not completely out of reach yet.
No, there's a chance. There's a chance. How important is it? I think being at home would be a nice thing for the first round. I really do. The conference at home is nice. I'm not counting on it. But if you're the Oilers and they can keep the games, things can go, they can win tomorrow. All of a sudden now they're playing the Flames, and the Flames can stay in that fight. That last game for the Kings is really, really important. So the Flames aren't going to mail it in.
31-5-4. The Kings are on home ice. You think that matters at all in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, you feel comfortable at home, but I think their record isn't quite as good on the road, obviously. But yeah, I do think it matters. Now the challenge is that the Oilers are comfortable playing anywhere. They've won hard games in the Stanley Cup final on the road. So yeah, I for other teams, I think it would make a big difference. For the Edmonton Oilers, if healthier than they are now, I think they can deal with it either way.
All right, Zuby, hop on in here, buddy. Let's wrap up our DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll. Gomez is calling me out. Gomez says Schauger can't add the two answers together on the poll to beat Struddy. I'm not really doing that, Gomez. If anything, I'm kind of splitting the no. So, do we all agree that it's fair to combine the no he's not allowed and the what a clown together, Zuby, to form the one side of the argument?
Well, Gomez does not agree.
Gomez doesn't agree.
If that's
he
what
doesn't
you were
get a
going
vote.
for, I think it's. I think that's implied. I think it's implied that the two go together. But Struds, you can both claim victory here. Should Struds be allowed to cast a vote for his own answers? The highest polling answer was yes, 44%. No was 32%, and what a goof, 23%.
Right.
Okay.
No, for sure. I mean, however you guys want to frame it, just do it so you get the answer you want, right? I mean, that's how things tend to work these days. So maybe people just think I'm a goof and they don't actually care about what the answer, but we'll never know that because of the miswording of the poll.
So you're not taking a loss here?
No,
32 plus 23 is 55. Right. So 55% of people who cast a vote either thought, no, you're not allowed to do that, or what a goof.
Yeah, so
and you're not going to take that loss.
I bet you 1 of 5 people who listen to this pod think I'm a goof, and they're just saying that.
It's higher than that, bud. I'd say it's a lot higher than that.
Oh, but that's what I'm saying. So that's a separate answer. That's like saying he's going bald. Is he going bald? That's another answer. So it's 3 separate answers. You can't combine them because some people just don't like me.
I lost it. He said he can vote. I'll allow him to vote for it, and he's still a goof. So that was his interpretation.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. So really, I kind of did this to myself by muddying the options.
Don't hate the poll. Hate the pollster. Right. And that's where we're at. So
Toby Jansen says Strud should get half a point. I agree. Toby. Half a point for Struddy. We'll call it a tie. Oh my God. This drives me nuts. All right, let's get to Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. Interest rates are dropping, making it a great time to consolidate your high-interest loans and credit card debt. Combining those debts into one manageable payment at a lower rate helps you pay off your debt faster, keep more money in your pocket. Maria can help you with all that. Mortgagesbymaria.ca will help you learn more. All right, Zuby, let's do 4 or 5 minutes of this and land the plane, buddy.
Sure. A little bit of housekeeping. People want to know if there's any input on when the series would start, if it's LA. When do you think the series starts? Kings finish their season Thursday, so Sunday or Monday. Do you have any inside information on that there, Schauger?
If it's in LA sensing Sunday, I think there's some NBA stuff that needs to be paid attention to. The other thing I wonder is because of the NBA schedule, if it isn't one of those ones where there's a couple of days between games. So don't know for sure yet, but I think we could be Sunday, Tuesday, Sunday, Wednesday, but I'm not sure it's going to be the Saturday. So I don't know. We'll probably hear more on this tomorrow.
The longer the better for Oilers fans.
Yeah,
Oilers team.
No kidding.
Wait, next Wednesday's fine. Just push it back.
68, almost 69 says, do you think any IR players come back tomorrow for a fairly important game? Is the roster going to be the same tomorrow? Is there a chance anyone else comes back? Lots of people asking about Wallman also. Is there any information there?
So I think he said Draisaitl was doubtful to play tomorrow, but potentially in the San Jose game, the last game of the year. if I recall correctly, what he had said this morning. Hyman, I don't think there was a square answer on. And I'm not sure, like Wallman was an injury. Someone was asking if he was sick or injured. I think it was a lower body injury there. Something got tweaked. So don't know on him. Honestly, like it's going to be such an optional skate. There'll be basically nobody there, but we got to nail down Chris Knobloch, and we'll go in there tomorrow and try and get updates on all this stuff. So just keep an eye on my Twitter feed tomorrow from Oilers Morning Skate.
All right. Penner's Pancake says the Ekholm injury is very concerning, but the forward group, especially the middle sixers, seem to be finding their game. Struddy, is that kind of the biggest positive that's coming out of what's going on in these last few games?
Yeah, let's take it as a positive. I mean, these guys are finding their stride, and they're getting more opportunity, and they're showing they can do it with more opportunity, given more opportunity. So I think that gives more options to the big guy, Chris Knobloch, as to what he wants to do with his lineup. You know, earlier in the pod, we kind of went back and forth about the lines could be. It is literally like men's league. Everyone has played with everybody. You know, there's been people coming and going. You know, it's been crazy. So I think everything's a possibility at this moment. And if they can get the health back, that makes a big difference because they're playing hard. These guys are playing hard without three of their most important forwards.
Yeah, and you just want guys, you don't want guys playing right on the edge between healthy and banged up, potential to hurt themselves further. Like more than anything, Struds, it's just the sheer number of important players who are riding the injury wire right now. Crazy. It's a high wire act, and there's too many of them that are riding it, walking it. I mean, I guess you walk a high wire.
If the Kings beat the Oilers tomorrow, no one comes back and plays against the Sharks. That's just the way it is. Now, if they win and someone can come back, and because that's the timing, then they come back. But even then, you're like, well, if it's the Sharks, we should be able to beat them with our team we had in Winnipeg because we beat the Winnipeg Jets and they're better than the Sharks. So we'll see.
Travis Farquharson, when we were talking about the Ekholm thing, made a pretty good point. He says, the Oilers defend by possessing the puck. They should be relatively okay. Certainly, I think that Coach Knobloch would. I think he'd kind of agree with that. Shager, do you think that's still important in the big picture for this team?
Yeah, I mean, Evan Bouchard is a puck possession player. He drives possession for his team. He makes good passes. Wallman, when he's on his game, can do the same thing. Darnell Nurse has had a better year that way. Brett Kulak has been half decent. Ekholm, I think they really miss what he can provide for them in the defensive zone. A pretty good first pass player as well, but it continues to be a strength of this blue line, even with Ekholm out, I would say. I'd agree with that, Struds.
Yeah, and there's no replacing Mattias Ekholm, right? We can't say it's a good thing, but it can be okay for a while. But the healthier their forwards get, the better it is for their D.
Jackie M said the skating ability amongst McDavid, Skinner, and Brown has been amazing. That line is consistently moving in the O zone. We talked about lines at length, but could that speed and the way they're moving? I mean, it would create a problem for anyone, but LA's not super fleet of foot. Could it be trouble for LA in this series?
Well, and that's the look you go for. You have those three guys that are really skating and moving the puck well. Then if you have, again, guessing let's just go Leon, Hyman, and Nuge, if that's whatever, a little bit different, maybe a little bit heavier line, especially with Hyman and Leon. But maybe you slip Nuge out and you put Paul Colton up there with those guys. Now that becomes a really heavy line. So your top line gives him one look. This guy gives you a different look. And then your third line is kind of a little bit different as well. So I kind of like the different looks, but still having success with those different looks.
Yeah, I mean, all of this is for naught because by the second period of the first game, McDavid and Draisaitl will be on a line together anyway. So there it is.
Okay, here's a new contributor on the stream, Chris, not me. He said, versus LA's size, do you go with Josh Brown potentially to replace Ekholm? How far down, now we treat every question with respect, how far down would it have to go, Shager, for Josh Brown to get a look? Is that in the ballpark?
I would say it's very unlikely. Josh Brown was assigned to the minors and then didn't report right away. I believe. I don't want to say anything that's not correct. I believe that they had a baby, And I think he was away from the team for an extended period of time. I think he's just gotten back there and is starting to get into games. But he very recently has gone a pretty long stretch without playing much, which is not putting him in prime position to be one of the primary call-ups. You see Cam Dineen here right now. So Struds, it feels unlikely anyways, but especially given that.
I think he'd be in the 8, 9, 10 range of people in order of getting in.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Probably 9 or 10, actually.
Well, it was worth hearing his name again, doing a little check-in there on Josh Brown. Okay. Davin said they're managing the puck really well right now without Ekholm, but the playoffs are different, so we'll see how that goes. Struddy, you spoke out puck management you thought was a really big piece of what they were lacking in a while back. Do you feel like it's improved? Do you see big improvements there?
I think there's been a more thought into where they put the puck and how they take the puck there. The high risk plays at the blue line, both blue lines, you don't need to do that. And you're giving the other team opportunity. And when I think back to last year, they were so good in the playoffs about managing that puck. And it's not, we don't want you to make skill plays. We just don't want you making them at either blue line. Take it deeper into the zone, bottom, blow the top of circles, pound it in there, take it to the net, move your feet, make it difficult for the teams to defend. And I think that is where the Oilers can be good. Now, the problem is that you can do that, but a team like Vegas just protects the middle of the ice and you never get inside the middle of the ice. So that's the step that you have to, the next step, and they're getting there. But that's where a Leon, Frederick, Kane, Hyman, those guys, that is what they do. They break through the middle of that ice.
Yeah, good stuff. Let's do 2 more, Zuby.
Okay, perfect. We got one from Northern Farm Girl. She's here with us tonight and has been for the last couple. Basically, what she's asking us, I'll take the end of it. What's your guys' favorite memory of the Oilers' glory days? Do you have a memory that pops into your head when you think about an Oilers Cup run, or what's a singular memory that pops into your head?
So for me, I recall being a massive fan, excuse me, of Martin Jelena when I was young. And when he was on that kid line, I believe it was with Graves and Joe Murphy, right, Struds? And they went all the way. I was just so enthralled to watch a guy that I loved so much when I was younger play a role on a line and contribute, and just the thrill of seeing it, a guy with, with other obviously amazing players do what he did. So for some reason, that kid line resonates for me, Struds. How about you?
I love it. I was devastated when Wayne Gretzky got traded. I remember I was washing my mom's Aerostar van when I heard the news, and I was devastated. But when they won that cup in '90 and Mark Messier lifted that trophy, I was one of my greatest moments of my life, sporting life, like just fan life.
Yeah.
It was so great that we did it. Not that we did it without Gretzky, but just those guys did it. And I love that.
How about you, Zuby?
I had always said, could you imagine, they talk about the curses and the curse of the Bambino and the whatever. Could you imagine if the Oilers hadn't won a cup after Gretzky was traded, the Gretzky curse, that would have been all over this team. The year they won their first cup in '84, when they won their first cup, I loved Andy Moog. And if you recall, Grant Fuhr got injured in the Stanley Cup final, right? And Moog had to play the last 2 games. So I was so happy for him, and he was going to get a shutout in the game they clinched it, and Patrick Flatley scored 2 goals, meaningless goals, like late in the game, and I cried my eyes out. I was so mad Andy Moog didn't get a shutout, but I was very happy that he got it done. Okay, 2 little pod related comments here just to wrap it up. Dallas Scarlett said, non-hockey note, my got your back hat was delivered yesterday. The white is sharp. So sharp that my fiance said I can't wear it before or after hockey or slow pitch. That's true. You don't want to get that. You don't want to get the stains there. He says, does that mean I should order a blue one? I'll answer this one. Yes, Dallas, you should order more. And then finally...
and merch is available on our website. What's our website again? gybpod.com?
gybpod.com.
I'll just check it. Yeah.
And there's a merch tab, and we gotta. Yeah. I know we say this. I got some ideas, some T-shirts. We even had there's a whole series of Struddy shirts coming, I think, with a few different really good quotes on them.
Okay.
We gotta get those going.
Like
They're gonna show up all over town. And
We'll have to
finally,
get in touch with his agent and get some sort of license. Like, are we allowed to just use his giant head and likeness?
his likeness.
Yeah, that's a big shirt required for sure.
Is Shona your agent? We have to
Yeah, you
check
can
with
talk to
Shona.
Ruby. Talk to my dog.
And finally, AJ in Montreal said, "Since when did Brownie learn to log off so smoothly? I usually listen to the pod. Rare that I watch live." He has kind of got. We haven't been able to even make fun of him about that lately. He's really dialed it in.
Yeah, he's tightening up the technical side. He even upgraded his own microphone and stuff. He stopped using the setup I gave him, and he started figuring out how to use the one that he's got at home for Ched. So yeah, he's growing, he's learning and evolving. Pretty soon we'll have him on social media, Struds.
Yeah, true pro. A pro's pro.
All right, that was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria Gallus, mortgage broker. All right, let's wrap up the show with our Gallery Dental play of the day. Take the first step towards a stress-free dental experience, providing modern dentistry for today's patient with the most up-to-date dentistry, sedation, implants, and so much more. Contact Gallery Dental, YEG.com. Lots of great stuff going on today, Struds. What did you go with for our play of the day?
Two good buddies going at it in the Masters, Justin Rose and Rory McIlroy. The class with which these two guys played with each other, you could tell they both want to win it. And then after, I think both reacted the same way as a winner and as a loser. It was fantastic today. So really credit those guys with the way they handled a really tough situation, and their wives as well, because they are good buddies. But that was one of the best Masters I've watched in quite a number of years.
I had the pleasure of actually sitting and watching pretty much the entire day. I started watching when Corey Connors teed off and watched it all the way through.
Yeah.
And it's pretty amazing. Did you watch today, Zuby?
I watched right from when Rory and Bryson teed off. I watched from there on.
Yeah. That course is immaculate, hey? Isn't it unreal
Crazy,
how every piece of fairway, it's an amazing setting. And one of golf's great settings. And Rory McIlroy completes the career slam. Pretty awesome stuff. That's our play of the day, brought to you by Gallery Dental.
And how about
Zuby,
you
nice
guys
work
mentioned
tonight.
You mentioned Justin Rose. He's like 44 or 45 and
44.
playing some of the best golf of his career. Do you remember when VJ won at 40 and everyone was like, oh, and like Phil won at 40 and they're like, oh, these guys are so old. And he's like 44 and contending in every major right now. He's killing it.
Yeah, he's quite the career he's had.
Yep, for sure. Zuby, good job tonight. First star for you for all your AI stuff, and great work on the show as always,
My pleasure.
buddy.
Let's do more. I got subscriptions. We might as well use it.
Use your whatever you want to do. I can't promise we'll put them all on air.
No.
I mean, tonight's was pretty weird, but for sure.
Of course, when you watch the Struddy's World intro, for people who join us Wednesdays at noon Mountain Time, there's of course a few of Struddy's personal photos that I've brought to life through the magic of AI in the Struddy's World intro. So
cool.
Tune in on Wednesday and watch for that.
Wednesday.
All right. Tomorrow night after the Kings, we've got another Got Your Back, and then we will have multiple pods on Wednesday between Struddy's World and the game against the Sharks. And then we'll get ready for our playoff preview shows. So looking forward to a great week of content. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Great number on the stream tonight. We really appreciate it. Thanks for spending some of your Sunday night with us. We'll talk again real soon. See ya.